A very pleasant day to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about satellite in fisheries, an introductory class. So before going into the topic in detail, we will have certain basic terminologies, that is like fisheries, satellites, orbit, satellite constellation, launch vehicle, launch pad, Kármán line. So according to FAO, fisheries or a fishery is defined as an activity leading to harvesting of fish or the fishery resources, which also involve the capture of wild fish and raise of fish through culture activities. It is typically defined as in terms of people involved, species or type of fish, area of water, seabed, method of fishing involved, class of boats, crew members, purpose of activities, or of combination of foregoing features. Then comes satellite. Satellite is an object in space that orbits or circles around the bigger object. So if we take the satellite, it is of two kinds, that is natural and artificial. If we take the natural satellite, for example, moon is the natural satellite of earth, which is orbiting the earth, and moon is an astronomical body that orbits the planet called earth. If we take artificial satellite is nothing but a space station, or either it may be of international or national, which orbiting the earth on fixed orbit with orbiting range. Then comes satellite constellation. It is a group of artificial satellites working together as a system. Unlike a single satellite, a constellation can provide a permanent global or near global coverage, so that anytime, everywhere on the earth, at least one satellite is visible, so that the particular data could be generated and used for any other purposes. So if we take the definition of launch vehicle, which is a rocket that places a satellite into the orbit. Usually it lifts off from a launch pad on the land. Sometimes the launch pad may be on off from sea, either by submarine or a mobile maritime platform, on ship or aboard of on plane. Actually, in other words, we can say a launch vehicle or a carrier rocket is a rocket propelled the vehicle used to carry the payload from Earth's surface to the space, usually to the Earth orbit or beyond it, beyond the range. So a launch system, which includes a launch vehicle, launch pad, vehicle assembly, fueling systems, safety range, and other related infrastructures. Then comes Kármán line. Kármán line is the boundary between the Earth's atmosphere and outer space at an altitude of 100 kilometers above the sea level. So the definition of Kármán line was based on a calculation done by the physicist Theodor von Kármán, which shows that around this point, the atmosphere becomes too thin, so that it support flight, or the flyable option. Like the amount of lift provided, which must be equals the vehicle's weight in order to maintain the flight level, which is calculated by the equation called lift equation. So with these basic terminologies, we just browse through the slides on satellites. Again, the first satellite was launched during the year 1957 by Soviet Union, which is the first artificial satellite called Sputnik. 1, which is of several utilities. Basically, the satellites are designed for the purpose of military and civilian Earth observation. The satellite which is used for communication, for navigation, for weather and climatical studies, and space options. So these are all different types of satellites which is commonly used for its own purpose. If you take the history of artificial satellites, again the Soviet Union and United States plays the major role by devising the artificial satellites and space stations. After Sputnik 1, Sputnik 2 was launched by Soviet Union with a carrier called Laika, a dot, which is sent to the space for the first time. And then comes by the United States. First satellite was Explorer 1 by 1958. Then simultaneously the space stations was constructed by Soviet Union, which is called Salyut 1 and Mir by Soviet Union, and Skylab, the space station, by United States. There are several parts which attributes the satellites which serves its own purpose. If we take, there are four main parts, which is of power system, which could be either solar or nuclear, which controls the stabilization, maneuver, and altitude of the satellite. Then comes antenna, which is used to transmit and receive signals in terms of information from one point to the another point. Then controls, which guards the satellite against extreme changes in temperature. Then a payload to collect informations, what are all the information which could be collected by that satellite, such as camera or a particle detector or a sand collector or material collector, something like this. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the satellite with different parts. Power, which is based on solar system, which converts the sunlight into energy. Then the antenna, which is used to receive and transmit the signals from and to the earth. Then comes transponder. Here, this is the transponder. So this is used to uplink and downlink the signals arrive and depart at different frequencies. So the transponders convert the uplinked frequencies to the downlink frequencies and then amplify the converted transmission for sending to the earth. Then comes housing. Housing is the constructed from a strong materials that can withstand the harsh space environment. Then comes command and data handling. It is the operational heart of the satellite, which can command and control the system, monitor every aspect of the satellite and receive the commands from earth for its operation. We can say this is the CPU of the computer. This command and handling data is called the operational heart of the satellite, as like CPU of the computer. Then guidance and stabilization. These are all the sensors that monitor the satellite's position to ensure it remains in a correct orbit or the correct position. The position of the satellite is monitored by these sensors. Then thermal control, again it guards the satellite from extreme harsh environment. So if we take the orbits, there are different types of orbits based on its altitude uh, above the Earth's surface in terms of kilometers. If we take the low Earth orbit, it is initiated as LEO. The orbiting range of 200 to 1200 kilometers. Then medium Earth orbits, it is MEO. It is from 1200 to 35,790 kilometers. Geosynchronous orbit, it is of the orbit, it's once a day but not necessarily in same direction as the rotation of the Earth, and not necessarily to be a stationary one. And geostationary orbit, it is of GEO, and which orbits once a day and moves in the same direction as the Earth and appears stationary above the same point on the Earth's surface, uh, can only be above the equator. Then high Earth orbit, that is HEO, which is of above 35,790 kilometers, which orbits altitude above the Earth's surface. So this is the representation of different orbits, which is marked in different colors. The yellow, which shows medium Earth orbits. Then the green dotted lines, which is of GPS. Then the cyan is of low Earth orbit. Then the red dotted line is of ISS. Then comes different purposes and importance of the satellites, which is used for scientific research in terms of space science, earth science, human exploration of space, aeronautics and space transportation, navigation, telecommunications, defense, space environment monitoring and terrestrial weather monitoring. Then for of environmental satellites, it serves for different purposes like temperature, wind speed, direction, aerosols, water vapor, cloud cover, precipitation, storms, tropical cyclones, and even satellites can also monitor how winds disperse the smoke from wildfires or ash from the volcanic eruptions. Then for the information, the satellite week celebration, that is World Space Week 2020, has been celebrated during the October 4 to October 10, that is the first week of October is celebrated as World Space Week. Then in India, Department of Space, Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO, has been initiated or established in the year of 1969 at Bangalore by the founder called Vikram Sarabhai. Then comes IIRS, that is Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, which is a premier institute for research and higher education, and training in the field of remote sensing, geoinformatics, and GPS technology for natural resources, environmental, and disaster management. Again, under it is functioning under the Indian Department of Space, which is established in the year of 1966, but founded at 1963. Then comes Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. It is also a major space research center of Indian Space Research Organization, which focused on rocket and space vehicles for India's satellite program, which is located in Trivandrum, Kerala. And SDSC, that is Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is placed or located at Sriharikota. It is called as that is the Satish Dhawan Space Center is called as Spaceport of India, which is responsible for providing launch-based infrastructure for the Indian space program. And this center has facilities for solid propellant processing and static testing of solid motors, launch vehicle integration and launch operations, and range operations compromising telemetry, tracking, command networking, and mission control centers. And also this center has two launch pads from the rocket launching operations of PSLV and GSLV is carried out. Then comes NRSC, that is National Remote Sensing Center, which is located at Hyderabad. It is responsible for remote sensing satellite data acquisition, processing, data dissemination, aerial remote sensing, and decision support for disaster management. Again, NRSC has a data reception center stationed at Shadnagar near Hyderabad for acquiring the data from Indian remote sensing satellites. And again, it also has several regional remote sensing centers uh, to support various activities of remote sensing tasks specific to their region as well as at national level. So which involves major software development, customization and packaging specific to user requirements, and conducting regular training programs for the users in geospatial technology, particularly digital image processing and geographical information system, that is GIS applications, etc. Yes, thank you for the patience and listening. Thank you, and all.